I really don't want to call this a vlog, but I'm about to verbally blog, so I guess this would be a vlog. If you watch any of my stuff or read the stuff that I write, kind of left a little cliffhanger in terms of what brought me out here to Sedona. So I just want to tell that story now. A few of my close friends and family know, but yeah, I guess from the start, for the past few years now, I've been getting progressively sick. I had crazy, weird, transient issues throughout my body, nervous system, sinus, my digestion was probably the worst thing. I couldn't process my food. You know what I mean? So ended up losing about 25 or 30 pounds. I was having severe anxiety and depression. Had never really struggled with that before. And none of the doctors knew what was going on. That was a really frustrating thing, is I actually went the modern medicine route to try to figure out what these ailments were coming from. And nobody really knew. So about 2 years ago, I just decided, all right, I'm not going to go to another Western medicine doc. I'm just going to try to figure this out. So in the process of that, here comes a pink Jeep tour. Anyway, as I was saying, 2 years ago, I made the decision, you're going to do the research, you're going to figure this thing out. During that time, I changed my diet completely. I have been eating a diet that's much more strict than that of like a bodybuilder for the past couple of years, and still I was having the stomach issues. My energy was incredibly low. My body couldn't recover from exercise. I haven't worked out hard in, gosh, probably 3 or 4 years now. So it sucked. That's really a long way of saying it. Was having a little bit of a rough go. My research led me down this path, though, of actually, I read this book called Toxic, and it talks a lot about environmental toxins, specifically mold. I'm reading about the symptoms that you can get from mold toxicity, and one of the main things they say is it's incredibly hard to diagnose because it affects so many different systems of your body, mainly because it affects your mitochondria, which is sort of at the very base level of running the power plant of your body. So it messes with everything. So I'm learning this stuff, and I figure, okay, well, let's figure out if I'm somehow getting mold toxicity. So I hired an inspector to come to my house. Sure enough, within about 10 minutes, first of all, there was no visible mold anywhere in my home. So this would have been something that you would have had to figure out from symptoms. And nobody else in my house was having issues. That's another thing with mold, is not everybody gets affected by it the same way. Some people don't get affected by it at all. Genetics plays a role in that. Anyway, 10 minutes into having the inspector at my house, he pulled back a baseboard down on my landing, and he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna send this to the lab, but I can already tell you that what I'm looking at right here is black mold. That is bad. That's the mold you do not want in your home." So they sent it to the lab, find out, yep, it's mold. So turns out what's been making me sick all this time is very likely to be mold toxicity. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is there's a lot of people out there, especially back home in Michigan, because it's a very damp environment. A lot of people are struggling with this. They don't even know. They just think they feel like shit. Could be mold. But in terms of how I made my way out here to try to detoxify from that, that's another interesting story. So as you guys know, I worked for Applied Fitness for 10 years. Me and all the folks there built an incredible thing together, and the pandemic more or less crumbled it. So coming out of the pandemic, I kind of knew that my profession was not going to go any further in the fitness industry, at least not right now. And I spent the 2 years of the pandemic trying to heal my body. I spent about $18,000 going to several different holistic remedies, supplements, professionals, nutritionists, you name it. So I drained my bank account during the pandemic, and I put all my efforts into healing myself. So this past December, I'm starting to feel better at this point. I'd been doing hyperbaric chamber, infrared sauna, which is really helps to detoxify, to get toxins out of your body. Start feeling better and better. I'm like, man, okay, I think I'm actually ready to like work full time again, because I hadn't been before that. I was just doing part-time stuff for AFS. So Christmas Day, Renee and I were watching YouTube, believe it or not. And for that whole month, I've been watching these property videos. We always dreamed of kind of getting out west and living beside the mountains. So I'm watching these property videos online, and I came across this particular company called Landio, and they make these property listing videos that are so in-depth, they literally make you feel like you know exactly what it would be like to be there. I'm talking about, hey, these are the animal tracks we found on this property. This is where the water features are. This is the topography. This is where we think you might position the home. Oh, this is the town that's right nearby. It's 25 minutes off of this road. Here's where the hospital is. Here's where the stores are. Here's where the nearest national park is. Here's where it butts up to U.S. Forest Service land or whatever. So incredible overview. And I'm watching this presentation. There's actually a person voicing it over. The guy's name is Tori. He's voicing over this entire presentation. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, this person is a genius. They are eliminating all the fears that people would have to actually like buy a property sight unseen. You know, and even in the video, at the end of the video, you've seen such a comprehensive 15-minute long documentary on this piece of property. At the end, it says, hey, if this is something you're interested in, you can actually go to our site, click this green button to buy now. And at that point, my mind was just exploding. I'm like, this is the future of buying land. So I get obsessed with these videos, watching all kinds of them. And surprisingly, there's properties across the West that are like quite affordable, which appealed to me. Christmas Day, I'm watching the videos, and I'm sitting there with Renee, and I'm telling her about how smart I think the person is that's making these. And I said, you know what? I want to work for these people. I am going to email this person. I don't know the email address. I'll just guess. And I'm going to tell them what I think special about what they're doing. I'll tell them a little bit about me, and we'll just see where it goes. So Christmas Day, I send that email. An hour later, the guy in the videos, Tori, sends me an email back. Hey, thanks a lot for the kind words. You know, your story sounds interesting. Let's have a phone call. So about maybe 4 days later, I have a quick 15-20 minute phone call with Tori just to ensure that I'm just as crazy as I sound when I was just reaching out of the blue to try to talk to him. That conversation went well. He's an incredibly busy person. The company's exploding. So it took about 2 weeks of follow-ups for me with more emails to get him to have a full phone interview with me. And I got on the phone with him and his wife, Natalie. And this was like a Thursday night at like 10 p.m. or something. Turns out they're in Sedona, Arizona, so it was earlier for them. But I was asking them the story about sort of what they've been doing with the company and how it started and where it's been, blah, blah, blah. And Tori starts telling the story about last year. They had a little bit of a lull in terms of how many listings they had and what they were up to because Natalie was getting really sick. And they start describing it, and he's like, yeah, she was having hair loss, and her hormones were all thrown off, and you know, she had incredible fatigue and all these different symptoms that were kind of all over your body. And I just stopped him. I was like, hang on a second. That sounds a lot like mold. And both of them were like, what? How did you know that? How did you know that? Did you look at our Instagram? And I was like, no, I didn't look at your Instagram, but I sitting here listening to that story, it sounds exactly like mine. I've been dealing with this thing for a couple of years now. It's crazy. And so that led us on like a 30-minute conversation about that. So it felt incredibly serendipitous. Like I had never met anybody else who had had such profound effects from this mold toxicity. And here, these people that I reached out to out of the blue have had it so bad that they actually moved their entire family from their house in Texas where the mold was to Sedona, Arizona. So when that happened, I was like, I think you're supposed to do this. And they, at the end of that phone call, they invited me to come out here and visit them and meet them in person. Renee and I did that about a month and a half ago. It went really well. At the end of that weekend of basically getting to know each other as people and talking to them about kind of what my experience was at my old job and what I feel passionate about, they like created a position for me at this company. And they said, hey, how soon can you be here? So I ran back to Michigan, got a U-Haul trailer, packed my truck up, grabbed Jared to drive me down here. And I was here within a week or 10 days or something. So that's where I am now. My job here consists of all the things I love to do. So I fly drones for property videos. I do a lot of writing. I make marketing proposals for people that we're going to be helping out with their properties. I talk to real estate agents and partner up with them. And I think the most exciting thing is this company is at the point where people are just starting to find out about them. They're just starting to grow. And I get to actually be one of the main players in shaping the culture of what this thing is and what it becomes. And obviously coming from AFS, that means a hell of a lot to me to have a round two at something like that. So yeah, this is where I am. That is what I do. It's so quiet out here. I love how quiet it is, except for the Jeep tours. But if you like hiking, you like blue skies and good weather, I am bored sometimes, so come visit me if you want to come out and see Sedona. It's awesome. I'll put some drone video of how pretty it truly is here. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this. If you did watch it all the way through, if you are struggling with weird issues and you think you might have a mold problem, reach out to me. I'll tell you everything that I did to figure it out. We'll talk to you about the first things that you need to do. It's a huge pain in the ass, but when you get on the other side of it, you realize how incredible your body can feel and your mind. So yes, your friend Nate is doing well out here in the desert. He does miss you though, and I hope to talk to you guys soon.